FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Butzianas, no call! Score!
Salamini for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazanovsky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Blasts. Yes! Heads it!
Miljevic.
Beautiful ball! Here's Bozanic. They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Danikian and George Kotsanis on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Welcome to the Pioneers. Hello, I'm George Kotsanis, and as usual, my co-host is George Danikian.
G'day mate, how are you?
Good, thank you, Georgie. Great to have you. Our special guest tonight is an Aussie boy done good. To do that, he had to prove to the doctors that he was fit enough to play football. And played football he did for Frankston, Doveton, Heidelberg, before a move interstate led to an extraordinary opportunity to play in Britain. Welcome to Doug Hodgson.
Evening,
The
boys.
one, the only.
How are you, Georges
G'day,
and
mate, how are
Georges?
you?
Good to see you.
Are you pain free at the moment?
Actually, I'm not bad. I've been under the scope today, so I've got a bit of anaesthesia still in there, so I'm quite numb.
Okay. But take us back, because this story is anything but numb. It's a fabulous
It's a
story.
great story.
Born 27th of February, so we should be getting ready. We should have balloons going on for his 49th birthday coming up.
We're getting in
later
early.
this year.
We're the
Yeah.
first to wish him happy birthday.
A couple of weeks away, mate.
It's
2 or 3
funny.
weeks away.
It's funny, you know, because you talk about birthdays, and it'll bring a tear to my eye. But I usually go through Christmas in quite a fair bit of pain, and I wait till after Christmas to normally spend some time with the family, and obviously Christmas time, and I ride it. And I normally go into hospital about end of January, February. And I remember my 40th when my father was still alive. I sat there and we had fish and chips, and I think I had one mouthful of beer and about 16 Oxycontins, a couple of Endone, just to get me through. So this year I cheated. I went early. We got the in-laws over from England, so I thought, well, I won't be miserable. I'll try and be good around the house, and went in early. So you know what? At the moment, I'm probably feeling the best I've felt in a long time. So this birthday could be pretty special. I might take the whole 9 in one.
Very good.
And we're going to find out why you spend so much of your life in pain. But a boy born at Frankston way back in 1969.
Good year for some, Georgie.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good.
Tell
So
us
where'd your
about-
football start?
That's it.
It was funny, you know, because Mum and Dad obviously from the UK, from Sunderland, a town called Grangetown. And they actually, the Pines, Frankston North. You know, everyone knows the Pines as the broad meadows of the Bronx of Frankston.
Correct.
And I have to admit, when I live in Mount Eliza now and people say, where'd you grow up? I actually put my head pretty high and go, the Pines.
Absolutely.
And I'm very proud of where I did grow up, and it made me probably the person I am, and the friendships that I do have. I've got mates that were 45 years of friendships. It's you'll never buy that. So Frankston Pines, my old man was English. We eventuated down to the soccer club, Frankston Pines Soccer Club, where Dad was president for 15 years. Started there at 5, 6 early days. Went to school in the Pines, played cricket in the Pines, and played tennis in the Pines.
Playing cricket, were you a bowler or a bat?
I made 100 when I was 12, made 88s and 71s.
So you were a thumper?
My old man reckons I was a better cricketer than a soccer player.
Wow.
And Dad played for Durham County in England.
So you'd know.
He was a spinner. When he passed away, we found a book, and I think he had some. I looked at a book and I went, look at these figures. It was 7 for, I'm just going to throw 20. And I went, Shane Ward will be happy with these, mate. I said, but he used to get me out the back, and he'd spin the ball out the back of his hand at me. And I had a brick wall on the right-hand side, and I couldn't hit that brick wall, so the elbow had to be up and down. So I enjoyed the cricket, and I enjoyed my tennis. I was junior tennis champion at Frankston North Tennis Champion as a junior. So I enjoyed playing sport, and obviously growing up in the Pines, there was a lot of English and Scottish and all different nationalities. It was fantastic, and I remember at the dues on Saturday night at the soccer club, and there was Scottish, and they were singing and dancing, and we just watched them, and we grew up in that era. And I spent most of my time at Frankston Pines Soccer Club as a kid.
Fantastic.
What a way to grow up, eh? Sensational.
What position?
Actually, it's funny you say, George, is because I was a centre forward. And I have to admit, I banged in goals for fun, and I'm going to say this on record, it was the boys feeding them to me. Okay, we had a great team. We went 3 years undefeated 10s, 11, 12s, and the boys end up going to play footy in different directions, but we were undefeated for 3 years as a juniors. We remember playing against Sunshine Heights. My dad coached my older brother, and they played Sunshine Heights in the Ampol Cup days in Olympic Park, the juniors.
Cup, yeah,
and I was mascot, so I never forget that Olympic Park, which was great eras of the life. So football realistically was our life, and there was no PlayStations, there was no iPads. It was different, but you know what? You wouldn't change it, and it made us. And I think a lot of people would turn around and say that's the made us the people. Mums and dads these days are working. We're at the soccer club one. And Dad worked on the oil rig, so he was back and forward, and we were down. Mum used to take me to training, but you know what? It was fantastic, and I wouldn't change it. And as a centre forward, that was the eras. And I think we won. We played in Adelaide. We won 21-0, and I think I scored 12. So
When we started the Pioneers, we had Gary Cole sitting right where you are.
The whole day.
How come you never stayed and followed the great Coley?
Tell you what, I'd be doing well to go into the big fella's boots. Me and Blakey, so we've got a lot of man love for him. For me and Coley.
A lot of man love for Gary Cole.
So when did you move back?
So what happened was, played regionals, played for Victoria. Paul Trimboli and I were strikers, both up front for Victoria under 13s. So we had George Daleski, Mark Telegic, Andrew Marth, Colin Coops, legend, right winger, ended up playing. Stan Thorless, we had about 7 players that played for Australia.
Did Marth ever smile in those days?
Yeah, he was all right, old stabber.
Yeah, after he hit you, he smiled.
As he picked you up, he said, "Oh, yeah, son, you okay?" He was, mate, he was solid. Anthony Graback with Bulleen was great. It was our era. So we had a great team, and I reckon I've missed it. Alan Alexander was the coach, and 13s, I remember we played in Tassie, had a great tournament. I think Trimmers scored 8, and I think I got 5 or 6 in the thing. We finished, Fozzie was playing, and we got beat, I think we ended up runners-up in the national championships. Following year, we won it. Following year, we won it again. I started growing, and I'll talk about my badges of coaching later on, and you look at, we call them giraffe kids falling over, and I think 14 I shot up a fair bit, so I think I was outside my body. So I think
still trying to fit in.
Still trying to fit into the. Now it's just trying to fit into the jeans and the tops. I look muscly though.
Okay, so we get you to 15. Yeah, you're playing football. You're loving your game.
Playing footy, playing tennis, playing cricket. Life's fantastic. You couldn't get any better.
Until December 1.
December 1, which I said to you before. I hate it. This is not a day that we had a car accident, and we got hit at 110 k's. There were 7 of us in a car, Datsun 120 wide, drunk driver, straight through a stop sign, hit us. We were on our way to a party, 15 years old, obviously on a Saturday night. Obviously it was a friend's party, so we met the girl that was driving. She broke her back. The best mate, he had open heart surgery, fractured pelvis, spleen removed. He died twice on the table. He's still got another good mate, had 52 stitches in his head. We called him Flip Top for a few years, bless his soul, big Gordo. He went on to play 400, and if he ever listens, he'll cane me, 450 to 500 football, not soccer, footy games from Pines, Aussie rules,
yeah.
And
you know
still
why?
is.
Didn't have to hit the ball.
No, he's okay. He's 6'5" by the way too.
Yeah.
So 7 of us in a car. Can't remember.
That probably saved you from worse. I mean, you were terribly knocked around, but had there not been 7 in that tiny car?
That's what the copper said the same, George. He said, you know what, you've stopped each other's impact. And the car was split in half. So the car was actually split in half.
And you were found somewhere down the road.
I was up it's funny, because I drive through the overpass where it was every day on the way to one of my businesses. So I go past there every day, and I'll go back to a little story, because it nearly hit me again. I had the hazards on, same thing. A truck was behind me. I've looked in the rear mirror, and he went right into the turning lane, and he would have hit me. It was the same thing. This was, I'll say 15, probably before I went to the UK. Well, actually, yeah, it would have been before I went to the UK. So it could have been the same place, karma again. So I had the accident, and
what were the extent of your injuries?
I had 4 fractured teeth, a broken jaw. I had severe whiplash. I wore a neck brace for 2.5 to 3 years. That long, yeah. Wow. Told I had 3 fractured ribs. Back wasn't too pretty, but no broken. A lot of soft tissue. Doctor said, you'll never play again. That was the words of many of medics that I went and seen. Surgeons had Sherman's disease in the hips and shoulders and bits and pieces. And
What goes through a 15-year-old's brain when you hear those words? And you're a sporty kid, right? What's? Can you remember what?
yeah, I do, because I become a very, very angry man.
Yeah.
And the angry man, a lot of people say, I become a centre half. And before that, I was not an angry man. I used to mess around in bits and pieces, but I wasn't a fighter, or vice versa, and bits and pieces. So, and it didn't came 15, 16, the neck brace, and about 17, 18, and it goes on. It goes on. There's more to it. There's 22. I was going to throw the game again, the lower back. And Mum said to me, she said, mate, you've came this far. You're playing National League. I played at Heidelberg. You were told you'd never play again. But no is not in my vocab. If you said to me no, I'll go, you know what? There's a way. I'll find a way. If I'm at work, I've got 4 businesses, I've got 90 staff. If a staff member says we can't do it, I'll go, you know what? We might not be able to, but let's have a go. Let's find a way and see if we can. Let's work together. Let's see if we can get it out there. So I was in a bad way. Seen psychiatrists back then, 16 at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. I still remember that, and they'll teach me how to relax. Still can do that. Shut the body down for a good 20 minutes with muscle relaxing. Yeah. So I remember that, and then I don't know if it's good or bad, but I thought, I want to take up martial arts.
An angry man's going to take up martial arts.
And I did. And I done Zen to the Kai for 3 years, done a bit of kickboxing, had a bag out the backyard, and I worked and I trained and I worked and I'd done my work and core, morning and night. I'd hit the bag, and probably not the best thing for the neck. And I pushed myself, and I went, you know what, I'm going to have another crack at soccer.
How old are you now? Are you having another crack?
18.
Yeah.
18.
So what
Frankston
did you do?
Pines,
Back
still
to
there.
Pines? Yeah.
I think Ernie, memory likes me, and let's be fair, the memory's had a bit of a beating over 17 years with medication.
So these are unreliable memories.
Yes.
Okay.
As close as we can get.
Ernie Merrick was down the Pines, and there was Jimmy Sullivan. There was one of the two of them. Anyway, at a game, he said, listen, we need a sweeper. Can you play? So I'll play anyway. I was just happy to have a run again. And I played at the back, and I was spraying balls around. And then I took a couple of tackles, and I'm sure it was Ernie. It was Ernie or Jimmy said, a centre forward doesn't tackle like that. And I remember playing against Box Hill, and I'd ping the ball out to the right back, and I'd line them up. I just go and line, but I'm not without being rude, not malicious. I'd take the ball. And if the man was in the way of the ball, happy days, you're taking it too, mate. I don't care, but I want that ball, and it's come with me. And that was the inspiration that drove me to get back to the game. And I was still now. We played in the it was one of the cups. Tommy Cummings was playing. I was wearing a buffalo shirt at Olympic Park.
Sure.
Playing against Melbourne Knights. Me and John Cummings, Sticks,
Yeah.
were playing. The old Pines boy, Jimmy Ross, and the other ones were talking about before, Georgie.
Yeah.
Boys were out there, and I remember going up for a header, and I headed the ball, and I'm playing centre half, and I hit the deck, and everyone thought I broke both legs. I had cramp in both legs. I couldn't move. I went, cramp, I'm not good here. And I got up and finished the game, and we got people. I remember Tommy Cummings, because when I grew up,
He sat in that seat.
he sat in too.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm an honour to sitting here, because I grew up watching these boys. My dad was involved with the FFE. He was president of the Victorian Soccer Federation. He was chairman. He was involved with the Metropolitan League and the growing of Pines with other people. Some good committee members down at Frankston Pines, and he was involved with FFE. So I'd go to the youth games. You'd see the youth, and Gary and Coley was one of my heroes. Coach was, the big blonde bombshell. He could run. He could score goals.
Couldn't head though.
Yeah, that's the rumours.
This myth that goes on and on and on.
Hey, he wouldn't mess up his hair, bless him.
Smart man.
Yeah, by the way, I should have took it.
Didn't want to rattle anything upstairs.
Well, let's be fair. I should have probably took a little bit of a leaf out of his guzzer.
There you go. So where did it all? When did you make the move to Heidelberg?
So I played at Pines. I had a couple of years getting back into, found my way in the first team, obviously as a centre half, and took a couple of blows to the head. This is the sorry thing. You look back, and it's a shame, because I never really spoke much about Frankston Pines, and I mean this in the most respectful way, because my dad was there for 15, 16 years. And the beauty of it was, Dad was president, his name's on the sheet, they needed an alcohol licence. And Dad decided as a president and to the committee he wanted to shut the bar for X amount of time, get the licence and go again. And the committee voted against him. Funny about that, because 3 weeks later there was a raid on the place and I lost the licence. But my old man had got his name off the thing, so my dad, and it's a shame, you know, because we've lost Dad 7 years ago, and he never, I ended up coaching at Pines when I came back from England, and he never went back in the club rooms. Never went back. So it was sour, so it leaves a sour taste in me as well, which is, it's a bit, I find it resentful a bit, because I've coached at Langwarrin, I've coached at Mornington, these are the Mount Elijah, I was vice president, so these are the Morning Peninsula. And it was a nice compliment I got from Charlie Platt at Mornington. He said, you're sharing yourself and your knowledge around the game in our area where I grew up. And I thought, you know what, it's the best way of putting it. So I took a couple of blows to the head. I got fluid drained off my spinal cord, off the brain. So I got and the club turned around and they wouldn't pay for, I think it was the medical. I was insured. So it ended up, and in the end I went, you know what, I'm out of here. So I went to Dufton, and Danny McMenemy, Danny was at Pines, obviously with my father, and bits and pieces where the connection was there. And I went there. I had a year. It was a good fit, and it was a funny year because we never won a game, but the last game of the season, and it was like we had won the FA Cup. We were legends. It made me, but I'd had a great year. I'd had a good year, and I played at the back, and it's a team game. You know what I mean? You talk about, I had a good year, but I needed them people around me to have a good year. And you know, it's a team. You know, it wasn't about Doug. It was about me going to enjoy my football. Mate, I'll tear and record. $50 a week I was getting, playing in Premier League. $50 a week.
Is that what encouraged you to finally make a move to Heidelberg, or did they come calling?
They came calling. They came calling.
Who was the coach?
At that time, Gary Cole, bless him, he'd had a car accident because he was over the Institute.
Yeah, that's right.
And he'd had a car accident. I remember, and I found out about this later. So the committee was doing a fair bit of work, and I believe, and this is third hand, Phil Stubbins. Stubbsy was a very big influence at the club. Obviously, he'd been in the club for a long time. Yep. Stubbsy idolised Phil, and got us in there. And between, I think, the committee, Stubbsy and Coley, it happened. I know they came and watched me at Green Gully a couple of times, and I've had some good games, and away I went, and basically I ended up in Heidelberg. And it's funny because Jeff Oliver was there. There's some great stories, and there's some you can talk and some you can't.
Did you save him a lot?
I reckon I did, but I reckon I could flip the page and say I made him the keeper he was, but he was already there by letting the strikers through. So I ended up at Heidelberg, which, imagine this, I'm working in the Morning Peninsula. There's no Eastlink. There's only Springy Road. And I'm tree lobbing at this stage, so I've had a few jobs in my time. I've drove bobcats, and I was a baker and done security for 6 years until the licence was revoked. And
you were just practising a whole lot of different businesses.
I was just figuring out which one I wanted to do. So I was a tree lobber. So imagine a tree lobber that's had a chainsaw in his hand in 35 degrees, driving up peak traffic, Springy Road into Heidelberg. The good thing about Heidelberg car park, it was gravel then. So I could put the handbrake on, do me donuts and go, and the boys would go, and I'll never forget, they go, this is going to be a funny training session, he's in a good mood, it's okay, he's all right. And it used to take me hours, 3 days a week, and that's commitment, and you know, that's what I want to do.
Before we take a break on FNR, we're listening to The Pioneers. This is Doug Hodgson's story, it's a fantastic story. I want you to tell us, that was all right, because that's what your teammates were thinking when you rolled into the car park. He's in a good mood. Did you ever frighten any of the opposition?
I don't know if I really. They would tell you.
No one's talking.
They would tell you if I did or not. I'd be honest.
Did you try and frighten them?
I'd be honest.
Or intimidate them?
No, I just want to kill them.
Okay.
Right.
And I mean that the most. Okay, let me go back.
In sporting
sense, I wanted to win.
Yeah.
I wanted to take that ball, and if he's in that way, it was never, and I can look his hand on heart, I've never gone over the top of a ball. Have I gone through a ball? To right. And with him on it, yeah, and I put him in row Z with the ball, and that is what I'm playing for now. That's why the body's a mess. A bloke would have played a little bit smarter. Yeah. But my physicality was, I'm going to take that ball, and I'm taking you with it. Because next time you receive that ball, you're going to go, where is he?
Born and bred in Frankston Pines.
Let's take a break. You're listening to The Pioneers on FNR.
Welcome back to The Pioneers. George Neekin, George Katsanis, and our special guest Dougie Hodgson. We're having a ball in here.
And it's frightening.
I'm just thinking of this. Listening to the stories that break in the brains.
In the break, you've only killed 4 strikers, or threatened to kill 4 strikers. We won't put that on record. So, Heidelberg, what's the next step?
So Heidelberg was, like I said, first year, Heidelberg, dream come true. The first trip away, we're in King's Cross. That's another story. We got
I'll save that for the next break.
Coley goes, he dragged us in on the Tuesday night. He said, when you go out, I don't care what you're doing. Make sure you stay together, all right? He gave us a little pull-up. So, played first game 3-1. We beat Sydney United then. Bosnich was in goals.
Yep.
There's some good boys up there. We won 3-1.
Sydney Croatia.
Yeah,
Sydney United now, but Sydney Croatia. Yeah.
They were huge, and I had a great year.
Was Shavor playing, and Kovacevic and all these boys?
All the boys. And I ended up...
Vedran Rožić was the coach. Yeah, great
It's
side.
a good side.
Great side.
A good side.
And I think Graham Arnold was there, wasn't he, in those early days?
You know what? I'll have a profile at home. You know, the books, which I must put to you, Georgie.
Wow.
Yep.
For the world. And I had a great year. Got best and fairest on my debut year, which at that era was, overwhelming. It was fantastic. So I'd had a good year. Cost the Heidelberg nothing. And off season, I was still wanted to play because I missed 45, 4.5 years. I wanted to keep going. And Kenny Wagstaff was at George Cross. So when Muskie was there, I went and played at George Cross. And anyway, had a good 10 games at George Cross, and Waggy said, I'm going to take you to England. So he took me to Hull City on trial. Played against Derby County at Boothbury Park, and anyway, 6 weeks, no one to sign me. Heidelberg wanted 140,000 for me. I was pretty heartbroken, to be honest. Let's just say...
Did that just kill the deal, the money?
Killed the deal. They offered £20,000.
There's not a lot of compromise between 20 and 140.
Well, hang on, £20,000.
Which is 40.
That would have been about 40
Still.
50,000, yeah.
So, which to me, that would have been fair. Obviously, Peter Slackers at that stage, let's be fair, I would have tackled him. If I'd got my hands on him, he would have been building, or at the bottom of that concrete slab, he might have been there. Good old Presidente, but a good man, but disappointed. Came back and left a sour taste in the mouth. Especially, I always go back to the man upstairs. He puts brick walls in front of everyone. He just kept putting brick walls in front of me, and I just kept knocking. I still do to this day. I kept knocking him down.
Just testing.
Well, he's done well. He's done well. He's done well. He's tested
So
me.
where did you go from then?
I knocked back to Heidelberg, threw my toys out the pram a little bit, obviously, still played, so I didn't breach any contracts, and disappointed. I had a clean out on one of my knees, and then with Julian Fella, and then basically got back into it, and played again, and then the third year I had doing security, at a bounce, and it wasn't nothing, it would have been assault. It was an altercation that the police wanted to speak to me about. There was no really things that was really bad, but we'll go around that, and I decided... Part of the job, and I thought, well, I might just take off to Perth and have a bit of a holiday in WA.
Yeah.
And I said to the club, listen, and it was Paul Donnelly. And you know what? If you ever listen, mate, I owe you a thank you. Because in all my time, I don't think I've ever seen him again, but he made it happen in WA. And the memories are vague, when you go back all them years and years ago. And he made it up. And anyway, they gave me a car. I went as a plasterer. And I said to him, guys, I'm doing 12-hour days here, slugging plaster. I said, I'm knackered. And I was playing centre midfield. The big centre half has gone up a little notch into the middle of the park. Because you'd gone down into the NPL.
Who were you playing for then?
Vanilla, Serbia. Right, so I was over there.
Committed and tough.
And by the way, I was doing well, enjoying it. Nicky Dyer had become a painter while I was over there because one of the boys, the captain, said, we'll take you on board. So went in there, away we went, and...
So you were really doing an apprenticeship in about 50 different new jobs?
Yeah, I was having a crack.
Oh, mate, what a crack.
You'll find ones there, that's right.
And it's caught up with me. It has. Now, what happened was Sheffield United was touring, and I'd already represented Victoria at senior level against JFK, and got to rub shoulders with the Trimmers and the Warratifis that we used to play against and try and kick and try and catch, and turned around and I thought, this is my opportunity. I said, this is it. And I went on a strict diet, no alcohol, obviously We were training 2 nights a week. I upped it to the other 2 nights. I was running and flogging myself like Rocky Balboa out in the streets, on the pavements. Dun, dun, away. That used to be my song as I was going to the games and the buses. And I thought, this is my chance. And I focused in, and they done an article with me in the paper, and we played at the Wacker. It was Glenn Hodgson, and they just got relegated out of the Premier League. Dave Bassett came over, and I had a great game. There's a man called Gary Williams, big bongo. He's an agent. And I'll never forget, he walked over, he put a card over my shoulders. I was walking off the Wacker. He said, how much is on your head? I turned around and went, 140. And I knew straight away. And after that, Sheffield United took me on tour. So I didn't play against Adelaide, and that's where they picked Carl Veer up. And I'll be honest, the boys, they were deflated. Getting to know the boys, they weren't, the heart and souls at Sheffield United playing weekend. They were just going through the motions and enjoying it. Just been a big year. You're playing 60-odd games in a year in the UK. You're exhausted. So you need your break. So I turned around and played against Northern New South Wales. Had a great game. Then played against Australia, the Ollie Roos up in Queensland. And after that, we were on the beach, and they said, "We're going to sign you." So in my clause in my contract, I had a percentage. So I turned around and I rang the president, which is still Peter. I said, "You don't sell me till I tell you, and then we'll do it." So I knew, I was a middleman, so I knew what was going on, what they were offering and what they weren't. And I knew they'd paid the money, because they'd already told me. So when they said 70,000 quid, away we went, and that's what they paid. But they went on games, and we were talking about it before, in stats. It was, down payment was £30,000, another 20,000 after 50 games, and then so on. And that's why I know I played over 50 games, because 2 lots of money came in. It took me 7 months to get it off the FFA, but we got it eventually. After Dad had to ring and say, "Can we have the money, the 18,000 that's owed?"
So suddenly you're playing for Dave Bassett,
In
Sheffield.
England. And you talk about injuries, you talk about luck. Let me go back a little bit. During that area of Heidelberg, my back was giving me a bit of grief. And Mum said to me, she said, "Son, you came this far." She said, "Give it away. You've got to National League at this level." And I thought about it. The body was sore and hurting, neck wasn't too good, back was sore. I thought, no, I'll stick at it, and here I am in England. And I went over,
Boy from the Pines.
Boy from the Pines.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that when I was at Liverpool's Christmas do, and exactly what I said, Georgie. Look where I am, the boy from the Pines. I met all the boys at Liverpool in their Christmas do in '97. So I'm in there, with Sheffield United. And I was in there, and Harry said to me, "You got till Christmas, settled in, away you go." I said, "No worries." Played reserve games. It was fun. We played against Man U, Beckham, Nicky Butt, Owen. There was Scholesy, was marking Scholesy and Beckham. Glenn Hodgson was playing. Hodgie goes, "Hey boys, I figured it out. I think there's about 650,000 on our side. There's about 6.5 million over there at that stage." Only
Conservatively.
Conservatively, yeah. And nowadays, imagine what it would be worth now. So I had some good runs, and Harry said to me, he said, "Get yourself right, see how you go." And what happened was I took a battering to my nose, and I ended up 32 days in hospital, kept hemorrhaging. So couldn't play, and Harry sent me home. I ended up coming back, and I had a game with strikers. Had 6 weeks with strikers, Frankston Strikers down here in the Moyne Peninsula, and then went back. They loaned me out, and ended up I'm allergic to anti-inflammatories. So that's why the body wouldn't like a dose of anti-inflammatories. Unfortunately, there's a 12-centimetre tumour on my liver that's benign that holds me back to take anti-inflammatories. So we went and we played, had fun in the hospitals, but there are other stories as well. We had lots of visitors, page-free girls and all sorts. I was single then. They were typical Jack Willett days and fun times, the boys coming, because I was on my own, come and visit me. And he turned around and he said, "Listen, I'm going to loan you out." He said, "I'm sending you to Plymouth, Argyle." And that's where Neil Warnock was. So Neil Warnock's at Plymouth, that's where the connection comes in. So I looked at the map. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo where Plymouth is. I said to H, I said, "Gaffer, are you taking the mickey?" I said, "Because if I fall off the edge, I'm going to land back in Aussie." I said, "Mate, it's the only place I'm going." So away I went to Plymouth. I was there on a month, played the games. Neil tried to sign me. He offered him 100,000. I think Harry wanted £150,000, and he offered him about 70 or 80, or it was hundreds talking. Anyway, Harry got some injuries. And what happens with the loan period, the first loan you cannot go back. You're stuck. Second loan, they can call you back any time. So 2 weeks into the second loan period, I got called back. Charlton, home, debut. The year before, let me go back, I actually did play one game, centre forward against Luton. came on as a centre forward. We played a reserve game. Me and Cole Vitt banged in 3 between us against Bolton Wanderers in a reserve game, and the boy said, "You'll be on the bench on the weekend." And I actually, my first touch of English football, I nearly scored. I went through the keeper. It was in there. Got the ball, just missed it. It was inches. So nearly got me first. Nearly. Got the keeper instead. So we ended up back and we won 2-0. Charlton. That was my debut. My uncle came down from Sunderland. Family were there. Cold English night. It was freezing. And then away I went. And that was
how many crowd?
Back in those 18,000. 18,000. Yeah, 18,000. Sheffield United holds a good 20. They had a 3. So what happens is Sheffield United holds more now, but they had a 3 stadium. They knocked the last stadium down because it was a 3 stadium, and they're built now. So when we played against Villa, it was 25,000.
At Bramall Lane.
At Bramall Lane.
Yeah.
Now you played at Highbury.
That was some good memories. Some big games. The big games, it was funny because the big games, and I always wondered, the big games I was up for, and little games, I could tell you how many bad games or average games I did. And I would have wondered if I could have done it week in, week out. And you'll never know, injuring yourself and finishing your career not the way you wanted to. You wonder if, could have, Tottenham, Villa, Arsenal, Bergkamp's there. So we went to Highbury. Howard Kendall, Dave Bassett had gone, and Howard Kendall's got me at this stage. And the kegs, bless his soul, now he's gone, okay, we're at Arsenal. He said, "What do you reckon, Dukester?" And I'm having a look at the underfloor heating in the changing rooms at Highbury.
You always want to move in, wouldn't you?
I thought, this is fantastic. But how great's this? So we're on the game anyway. We've gone in. That's a full house, 46,000. Little do I know, there's a man called Mr. Gilder. Remember Mr. Gilder?
Carl Gilder.
Carl Gilder played with him at Frankston Fine. So we're on there, and I'm on the bench, and the kid goes, "Dukester, can you play up front?" I said, "Gaffer, put me on." I said, "I'll get you a hat-trick. I'm ready to go."
Shy.
Mate, I just wanted to get on.
Yeah.
I was just itching to get on. I had appearance money. I had to get on there. I wanted to get on. So I said, "Gaffer, get me on." So I've stripped off, and there's gone, Dave Whitehouse has gone up, bang, scored, 1-1. He said, "Put your gear back on." So I put my gear back on. I said, "No, actually strip off." I went, "Gaffer, I'm getting dizzy here." He said, "Let's lock shop." So on I went on about the last 15 to 20 at Highbury. And coming on for is Dougie Hodgson. And I found this out afterwards. Carl Gilder's he's in the crowd.
Oh, gee.
He's in the crowd. And you've got Bergkamp, Ian Wright, Seaman, Merson, Keir, they're all out there. Parler,
yeah.
Bold, Adams. You're talking who's who of Arsenal.
Yeah.
And here's me marking. I've got a great picture of me and Adams up in there. And I went on a mazy, got to the halfway line, I had no support, turned around and just knocked it and ran back. So, great error. So we finished the game. We drew 1-1. And I'll be honest, and I'll go on to this, so I remember, we played in the following leg at Bramall Lane. Carl Vitt, on record, destroyed Tony Adams. Absolutely destroyed Tony. We won 1-0, and Carl, I remember to the day,
He had the talent.
he destroyed him. He got the header for the goal. He destroyed him.
He would drift in just when you didn't see him.
Yeah, he was. He's in Adelaide now, and I've caught up with him when we've been over. But good lad. So I get a knock on the door, getting changed. The change rooms, a knock on the door. They go, "Mr. Hodgson." I'm thinking, what have I done now? It's okay. Got someone. I thought family, London, Sunderland, maybe. Nah. Anyway, I came out. I only had a towel, and the blokes at Highbury were in like the Salvation uniform, very well to do. "Yeah, mate." He said, "This bloke here wants to speak." I went, "Gilds, it's Carl Gilder with his cousin." He said, "Daddy," I said, "How are you, son?" I said to the bloke, all dressed up, "Do me a favour, can you get the 2 boys up in the players' lounge? I'll be up in a minute." So I got changed and got up there, and I'll never forget, Carl's up there, we're having a few pints of beer, because that's what you did back then. After the game, you had a beer. Hydration. But they don't do it these days, I believe. Sports science.
Yeah.
It's called relaxation of the muscles. It was
Yeah.
good. So we ended up, and Carl was there, and Carl, when he came over, we'd always catch up. So Highbury was an eventful, I think, going to Sheffield United, the Burnley move was probably...
Now, before you go any further, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to promise me you're going to tell the story about Ginola. You and Ginola. Eh?
That's
Up
your team,
against
isn't it?
Tottenham.
That's
Yes,
your team.
yes.
I've got Sol Campbell's last shirt
All right.
he ever played.
Stop bragging. This is the Pioneers. George Katsanis, George Danikian, and Doug Hodgson.
Mike's up.
You're on the Pioneers on Football Nation Radio, and we're with Dougie Hodgson, who's promised George is a Tottenham story. So let's get straight to it.
Tottenham. We actually, I'll go straight. I'd moved. I've got to go back. So when we get to Northampton. So when you talk about luck, George, how it goes and how it goes badly. On a £250,000 move from Sheffield United to Burnley, went over on loan for a month. Sean Murphy's playing for Knox County. I'm at Burnley. 88th minute, boy came backheaded me straight under me cheekbone, 4 places. Out of having a nice week in St Lucia holiday because I was out for 6 weeks with my wife to be then, but now wife. So ended up over there. Went back to Sheffield, and Neil Warnock came and signed me. I was his first signing for Oldham Athletic. Had a year and a half to 2 years at Old, and then Andy Ritchie, the legendary Andy Ritchie, took over from Neil Warnock as a manager at Oldham, and he obviously said at the end, he said, doesn't matter what sort of year you have, figures-wise, we've got to try and cut the budget. And I was still on first division wages when I was at Oldham, and then Ian Atkins came and got me to Northampton, where unfortunately the career ended. So had some great times. I've got a great picture of big Mark Haitley, the big Scottish thing, and
Tough man.
Tough man at QPR. It was my debut for Oldham. We drew 1-1. So I got to Northampton and scored on my debut. Played against Bristol. I think it was one of the Bristols, and scored on my debut, and things were looking great. Played only 10 games. Took over as captain. One of them great games, FA Cup. I think it was a third round the FA Cup was, against Tottenham. You're a great team. Sol Campbell was playing, Ginola, Armstrong, some big boys out there. Really wet night. Heavy. And he had silky skills, David, Ginola did. And I was marking Sol Campbell at the post, and I've got him there, and then I just picked my face out of the dirt. And some big fella, just a steam semi-trailer's just gone whack. And I'm like, what was that? And that was a big fella coming through.
Big Sol.
Oh, he was a strong boy, and I wasn't prepared for it, obviously. And then anyway, I think we were 2-1 down, they got a penalty. And I remember picking the ball up. And hey, by the way, I didn't give the penalty away.
All right.
I didn't give it away, for the record.
Yeah.
But you decided some trash talking.
And I said to Dave, Davey, I said, mate, as I threw the ball, I said, don't you miss, mate, in a good Aussie accent. Don't miss, buddy.
Called him Davey, did you?
Dave, I said, don't you miss, mate. That's right. And he's looked, and his eyes rolled. His eyes actually rolled, and I'll never forget it. He was going, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss this. And that's what went through his head by his body language. And you know what? He missed.
He did miss.
And I've gone, yes, get in there. Well, I've got a great picture of me and Sol Campbell when I was rattling the crossbar with him, but he was a strong mate. We lost 3-1. And then we rolled into the leagues. Ian Atkins had got a new back four in, boys from Blackburn, one from West Brom, myself in the centre there. So we'd finished training, and we went off training, and he called us back on to do a bit back four work. And I said, Gaffer, well, we could have just kept going. And I believe, looking back in hindsight, I reckon I've cooled down. We've gone back out.
So this is the fateful day.
This is the fateful day, so. And it was good. Sixfield was good. Northampton, obviously enjoying it. New venture. Good club. And ball came in, and I wasn't a happy man because we're back out. Then I've laid into the ball pretty fiercely. Good header. It was about 45 yards. So that was pretty good. And I thought, I've pulled a muscle. I've done a muscle here. And lucky enough for me, I never had another ball. Because the surgeon, the disc had prolapsed. It smashed against the spinal cord. If you look across my hands, you can see the different colours on my hands, that's spinal damage. And they operated between Christmas and New Year. And he said to me, because I was going to come home to see Mum and Dad. And the contracts, the way the contract, and I'll touch on the contracts because a lot of people won't know. If you're under contract, I still had 2.5 years to go on my contract. I just signed. That becomes null and void. 6 months' money and you're out the door. They can sack you. So unless you've got insurance, which some players do, clubs will insure you for £5,000 because they have to, under ruling. So financially, you're done.
Wow.
Some people, big contracts, $500,000, like the big, let's talk about Jamie Redknapp, he'd probably be for $10 million or X, Y, Z. But when you're in the first and second, players don't, you don't think about this. Agents are meant to do it. I did. I had an insurance policy, and it was 1 year's wage. So in the end, I lost a year and a half worth of finances, and it took me 3 years to get my finances out of that club. And the PFA, this is how strong the unions are in England, had to put an injunction on Northampton. No players could get sold, loaned, until they paid me my money. So it was one year's worth of money. And I'll be honest, my father-in-law's here over from the UK. I just paid Bupa International. It cost me £5,000. I pay that every year out my own money. So that's about $8,000 for my own medical bills. So on that day, I was meeting my wife. I went up Oldham. I was going to the dental hospital to see the dentist. I was meeting my wife at Liverpool. She was working for Mizuno or Nike then, and I was going to go to the training ground at Liverpool and see the boys and have a yak. And I said to her, I'm not too good. Head down the motorway, down the M6. Rang the physio at the club and said, mate, I knew my neck. I said, something's not right here. And by this stage, pins and needles came in both feet and both hands. Got to the hospital, neck brace, drugs, Valium, painkillers, and I suppose the rest is history. Operated between Christmas and New Year. The first year on the London Bridge, I was in London Bridge Hospital. Harley Street surgeon, Mr. Asher, I used to fly back to England because no one here could get rid of the pain. And then I used to pay for myself, fly back to England. He'd get me 9 months not pain-free, but without a lot of medication. And I've been doing that for 16 years. So my own money. I'd hate to imagine what I've spent in medical bills. I'm probably lucky I have got 4 businesses, because otherwise I'd be probably back in the pines. I just respect to the pines.
You're talking about the money, but tell us, you're a footballer at your peak, right? Tell me about that. You can't play anymore.
Emotionally.
It's funny, you know, the last 2 years has been pretty tough. It's been tough before that, and it's people need to know, you know, because it's out there now. I can talk about other people's emotions, depression, anxiety. I can't talk about my own, but I do have it. I've fought it for years and years and years, and I've seen specialist after specialist, no problem at all. They tried to give me medication at times, but I'm pretty pigheaded. I think I take enough painkillers to have medication, so I fought that off. And it's hard. You know,
At what point did you come to the realisation, or did it?
Suicide.
Yeah, but at what point, how long ago was it that you realised that you were suffering from depression and something more than just?
I'll say all along.
Yeah.
But I knew what my problem was. The
But
pain. There was pain. I fought it.
Yeah.
It grinds you down.
With depression, I think you understand it and you talk about, you know what's causing it. When you don't know what's causing it and you've got that chemical imbalance or you've got that feeling, emotions, you're going, well, why? How? I've always known why. My soccer and my pain. It eats me up.
The frustration.
Frustration.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I've got 2 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And a beautiful wife.
Yeah.
A very supportive family. That's what's kept me here. And that's what's kept me.
It's also been an amazing journey.
And it has. And it's funny because my father-in-law's here and he said, your life's never going to be dull, love, when she married me.
No.
And it hasn't been. It hasn't been.
And the truth of the matter is, you've talked about the businesses, you've talked about the people you employ. So you've not only defied all the critics and the pundits and the doctors. And
it's funny you say.
And you're still doing it.
And you still go. And you talk about the Aussies. The Socceroos, the Aussies. It really that.
You had a chance to play, didn't you?
No, and that eats me up, and it really, really does. By the way, the boys, I support the soccer. What the FFA's done for the game, the marketing, fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't agree with job for the boys.
Yeah.
I'll go on record and say that.
Yeah.
If you coach, you do well, keep your job.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game all over the world.
But tell us about this frustration, because you're playing in the first division.
I was the highest ranked centre half in the world, playing at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Second off top. I played 14 games straight for Sheffield. I won Player of the Month at Sheffield. Got me a little trophy at home, sitting in a suitcase somewhere. You walk into my house, there's no soccer stuff up.
We end up in my museum. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
we'll get it in there. So we turned around and we go, well, why? There's a camp. Let me go back. There's a camp in London. Highest ranked centre half in the world. I won't name names, but when you've got no passport, you have to play for Australia. And the way you get to play for Australia is through whichever ways you can. Not saying I should have played for Australia. Not saying I was good enough to play for Australia.
You wanted to find out if you could.
I wanted an opportunity
Yeah.
to play for Australia. I'd have been quite happy to go in that camp that month and be proved wrong.
You had an invite.
That's all I needed. And then the second time was in Scotland. I was highest. I got Player of the Month of the whole of the second division. And you're on the same campus, so it wasn't going to cost nothing. Not an invite again. And that for me, politics in sport, mate, you want to see the other side of Doug Johnson? That's me. That's the anger that I hate. In work, in life, we know it's everywhere, in football clubs. and I don't agree with it. I really don't. And it's, for me, it's a point where I go, you know what? No. You pay me to do a job. If you don't do a job, unfortunately, you move on.
Yeah.
And that's football. So it has left, not a sour taste in it, but a very disheartening.
You've played in the old competitions. You've played for a number of clubs in Britain, from the first division down to the second division, correct?
Yep.
And you've seen and watch A-League games as well. What do you make of the past game and the new game? And can we bring it together to be one game?
I think it's very hard, because if you talk financially, let's go back in the old NSL. The financial terms, there was clubs struggling, as we know.
Yeah.
Give them due. They put a module in place, and FFA, right or wrong, to put a good module in place. You got to applaud them for that. Is the module correct? That's bigger to differ. So you look at the module and you say, right, you talk about the tactics and you talk about the people on the game.
Yep.
Are they becoming robots? Are these becoming robots? These coaches, you know, you play your cattle. You play your strengths. That's the name of the game. You don't go and play your 4-3-3 because you must play that. And they're told to play that. We know that. Because you look at that and say, you play him, why is he playing there and why is he playing there? Because, you analyse the game. You know, at the end of the day, you go out there to play your best team and you go to win. Because that's what it is. You look at the crowds. I don't think the FFA is helping with the crowds. Let's talk about the crowds. Sunday nights, 7:30. You're not going to take a kid to the game. They've got school. Too late. They're worried about the TV, right? So is it right? You know, are we doing the right thing for the game? And that's the thing. Talk about me politics. Let's do what's right thing for the game. If you're a good coach, and no disrespect to Aloisi, good lad, brilliant lad. He's done a couple of places. He's failed. You know what? You don't become a bad coach overnight.
Right.
There's better coaches. You talk about Chris Taylor. That's another one. CT. You look at South Melbourne, and they're fighting to get in the A-League. Well, his wife and my wife are very good people, good friends. And I know on the record, there was financials owed 10, 11 months. A club of that category, and he struggled. His marriage struggled for that, because of that commitment. You know what I mean? His marriage. And so you look at that and you go, well, this is a club that want to go in the A-League. That's a no-go. For me, I don't care if it's Heidelberg, South, Green Garden, I don't care. You've got to fit the module. Don't wipe the slate, the ground's such and such. No, the ground's black or white. It's right or wrong. And if it's wrong, unlucky. Get it fixed up and we go again. And that's the wrong of the game. That's the politics, handshaking, and I've had it. I've seen it. And I won't name names, and I've seen it because it affected my career and it affected me. And I hope it doesn't affect anyone else.
Mate, such a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being open and honest. We really do appreciate it. What an amazing story. I got a question without notice. There's a great story. Someone's going to be listening somewhere around the world and thinking this is going to be a great movie. Who's going to play Doug?
Well, I don't think I could kick a ball now. So.
No, but who's going to, what actor? Pick an actor.
Vinnie Jones.
All right.
On the Australian version of Vinnie Jones, it's
There
on the
you
back
go.
of the...
Right.
Sean Bean. Sean Bean,
yeah,
Sheffield lad. I trained with Shawnee. He's Sheffield, so...
We'll put it on an APB for Vinnie Jones and we get this movie going, George.
The Pioneers with a very special Doug Hodgson. Thank you, George.
Thanks, George. Well done, Dougie.
Thanks, gentlemen, for inviting the show. It's been much appreciated.
Beautiful. Beautiful,
Is that all
mate.
right? Got to sweat up, man.
You
The passion comes out.
No.
FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Butzianis, no call! Score!
Salamidi for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazanovsky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Bath blasts. Yes! That's it!
Miljevic.
Here's Bozanic. They haven't! They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Danikian and George Kotzanis on FNR, Football Nation Radio.